Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. You may have read on, I don't know, Boxing News, or I think Boxing Scene mentioned it as well. One of these internet outlets. I think initially I saw it on Yahoo News or something like that. But you may have read that Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia did 1.2 million pay-per-views, and I've got to be honest, I'm surprised. I'm surprised at that. I thought it might do between sort of 600,000 and 800,000, maybe 800,000. But 1.2 million is quite impressive. If it's accurate, I always take these figures with a little bit of pinch of salt. But there's no doubt that, if that's true, or if it's just a million, that's really good. And after the fight, Tank Davis was saying, I think it was Jim Gray said to him, "Are you the face of boxing, the new face of boxing?" He said, "Yes, I am." And I thought, come on, mate, one win. I mean, it's a good win over Garcia, and he looked very impressive doing it, but that doesn't make you the face of boxing. Well, if you've done 1.2 pay-per-views, you can make that claim. But let's not forget, let's never forget, whether you're talking about Tank Davis, Canelo, anyone else. I mean, maybe Canelo can do big figures anyway because he's just so vastly popular no matter who he fights. But I think Tank Davis is still at the point where he needs a very good opponent. He needs someone in the opposing corner who could cause him problems, and it's a competitive fight. He hasn't become that sort of national figure. I'm almost tempted to say a nationalist figure, where he sort of transcends the sport and the whole of America is behind him and they watch his every move, all this sort of thing. Whereas Canelo seems to be a sort of like a Mexican idol, a bona fide Mexican idol who'll be remembered for many, many decades. Davis hasn't achieved that status yet. So the new face of boxing, I would stop there. But there's no doubt that if you do 1.2 million, you've got so people have to pay attention. And also, let's not forget that this is a good example of what happens when you get two extremely good fighters and you put them together. They don't always do the pay-per-view figures that they deserve, because I mean you have had great matchups and the figures have been somewhat disappointing. But I think most of the time you're going to make a considerable profit if you've got two guys, you put them together. They fight each other. They're competitive. Some people think fighter A will win. Some people think fighter B will win. It's the oldest recipe in the game. Put competitive fights on and people will pay attention. So simple. If there's a scourge with the modern game, it's not that the talent isn't there. The talent most certainly is there. I've heard people say that, like the heavyweight division this is a lousy era for the heavyweight division. No, it isn't. It's a really good, talented era. But they're not fighting each other enough. Pick any fighter, go to the top 10 of any rankings and count the amount of opponents that the fighter you've chosen has faced. And the ones they haven't faced will normally outnumber the ones they have faced at least 2-1, probably 3-1. So fighters have to fight each other. They have to have competitive matchups. That's how you build your legacy, and ultimately that's how you become, a pay-per-view star and you make big, big money. Okay? When Tyson Fury, and God knows I've given Tyson Fury enough stick over the last 6 months, but when he went to America, fought Wilder, put on a great performance, essentially beat Wilder, came off the floor, that iconic moment in the last round of the first fight where he gets off the floor after essentially being knocked out. I mean, he made his name doing that because he took on a clear threat. He was an underdog, and you know what happened in the two subsequent fights. But if you don't take those chances, you're not going to make money, and or you can make money, but you're not going to make massive money. And most importantly of all, you're not going to transcend the sport. You're not going to become an icon like a Canelo, or I suppose Mayweather, you could say. Obviously, Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, these massive stars. You've got to do that. You've got to take chances. So big up, Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis. Don't forget Ryan. He turned up. He fought. I know people say he quit, but 24 years of age, he took on a challenge. He had the guts to do that. Anytime you get two fighters who are prepared to meet each other in the ring, put it all on the line, both undefeated, I've got no problem with that. Win, lose or draw, I've got no problem with that. They got my respect. It's like George Kambosos is one of my favourite fighters because he earned his right. He worked his way by globe trotting. He worked his way into the number one position. He took on Teofimo Lopez in his backyard. beat the crap out of him in a very, very tough fight. You know, was on the floor, came off the floor. What did he do? Went back to Australia. And what did he make several defences against, you know, B- level fighters? No, he said to Devin Haney, come and get me. And Haney, again, credit to Devin Haney. He made a lot of concessions to go to Australia and fight Kambosos twice. He wanted those belts. He wanted that legacy. And credit to Kambosos and Haney for fighting each other. So that's one example. We need more of those examples, more of them. And then I think boxing will continue to grow. And boxing's in great shape. There's some great fights on still. You just got to look for them, you know. And people avoiding each other's nothing new. So leave your comments below. What do you think about this? What do you think about the pay-per-view situation? 1.2 million. You know my views on pay-per-view. I don't do pay-per-views. I haven't done a pay-per-view since about 1996, nor will I ever. But that's the game. That's the system that exists. So what do you think of the 1.2 million? Leave your comments below. Hit the like button if you could. That would help us out a great deal. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. It takes a second just to hit that subscription button. That's really do appreciate that. And of course, spread the word about Joe's Son of Boxing. So meanwhile, take care of yourselves. We will speak again. Bye for now.